What's going on, guys? Hit pause back for the next part of this custom weapon tutorial and animations and everything. And what we're going to do in this one is we're going to create ourselves probably 2, maybe 3 very simple animations. So what I want to do first is, not to that, I want to align the gun back to his arm here, like so. Let's Alt-X that so he's no longer... Actually, I kind of like him like that. And let's go, oops, object properties, and let's go uncheck that, and we'll hit, we'll freeze him. Alright, so now we can't pick him. There is a bug, by the way, in 2015. You cannot, I have him frozen, I cannot click any of these bones unless I drag through. It's really annoying. You can't click them anymore. Even with one selected, they just don't show up. In wireframe, you can still. So bug in 2015 and later, I'm assuming. Okay, so we're gonna, first thing, we're gonna make ourselves safe. And what we're gonna do is, we're gonna do anim UE4 guy, and this is gonna be idle. Okay. I kind of want to prefix that with the rifle. Okay, rifle idle. Okay, so we're just going to save that, and now all we need to do is take this guy, which should give us this, and we can, I'm trying to think, yeah, Control Shift L, and we're gonna link constrain it to the hand. Okay, so now this controls the whole hand and the weapon stuck to it. Okay. Now there's a thing I want to note here. A few, well, one, what I'd like, I don't want to really call it a mistake. I don't need that anymore. But there is something here. The guy's not facing down the X, positive X. He should be facing me, looking this way. From this view here, if you look here, X is pointing down. He should be facing downwards, but he's not. Now that can be an asshole thing to have to deal with, but if you notice, he's just rotated, okay, negative 90 essentially, to face positive in the X. And so as long as everything that we do, the mesh is rotated, so the animations will be rotated too. So we're okay. Just want to point it out that you do want to consider positive X the facing direction and try to maintain that, even though our saviors and pros, the guys who are making it, don't always do that too. Just trust me, it will bite us in the ass at one point. Probably not during this tutorial, but so now what we want to do is we want to kind of pose this so that it is pointing straight, as straight as we can get it anyway. I'm going to turn off rotation. Okay, so that's good. And then we can move it pretty much wherever we want, and we also still have control over his elbow. Let's not be local for moving that around, and we can pull his elbow down. Oops. Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, and again we can move the weapon around, no problem, with this guy here. Okay, I actually don't want him to be see-through anymore. It's confusing. So let's unfreeze all. Let's Alt-X him, and we'll just do that. Be kind of irritating, but whatever. Let's get his hands, and one of the faster ways to do that would just be to grab everything right here minus the mesh. I should end up with 12. Yeah, and I have 12. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate locally based on each one's pivot, and now we should be able to make a grip on it. Not a perfect one or nothing, but not that big of a deal. So we'll just fix the forefinger here. And the pinky. Again, I'm not going for perfect accuracy here. I've already done all that on my game. I spent enough time on it. Ears, even. These fingertip bones are kind of hard to deal with because they don't have child bone. They tend not to cooperate, but we can page up and page down still. Again, this isn't going to line up great. You will have better hands on your models. You will have a less fat handle on your gun. You know, everything will be better for the real thing. I just like I said, I just want something that's there that I know is in fact custom. So we can just page down to get its child. He's got one hell of a girthy thumb compared to his other fingers. That thumb's got some girth in it. Alright. So that should be good there. And then what we want to do now is we want to attach his left hand on it because that's always fun. Oops. Do not want to pick another mesh. Okay. We are overstretching. That's okay for now. All we care about is that the hand is in the right spot for gripping. Okay. And what we're going to have to do is move this back. Otherwise he's not going to be able to do it. He's not going to be able to reach. We can fix it after. We just need that hand to not be disconnected. It's important. Oops. And then we'll go like that. And once again we'll grab all of the fingers minus the mesh. And we'll just give him a very unnatural claw-like grip on this thing. It's kind of creepy. I don't want him to look dainty. It's really kind of difficult to get these selections. I'll be honest with you guys. Okay, so page up, we need to rotate that way, page down to get the child. Page up and page down, by the way, just cycles through the hierarchy. Super handy. Control page up will get everything that's on like that level. All children, all parents, or whatever it is. Okay, so clearly it's not great, but it's okay. Okay, so now all we need to do is take this guy and basically link it to this guy, because the hands and everything are already controlled on it, so it's going to mess up when we go too far away from his body, but otherwise the hands will be stuck on there. Okay, so to fix his body, now we should be able to pose him a little bit better. So we'll rotate those. Let's take his head bone before we do that. And we'll go to the hierarchy here, and link info, we're not going to inherit any rotation. That way we can move it around and we don't have to constantly go back and fix his head. Okay, I do feel like this should be more like that. And the nice thing is because we have set up our control object for our left hand, we can just move this thing around however we want. Like, what if we wanted to do this really slowly and methodically? I don't know why I did that, but it happened, folks. Alright, so where's his other elbow? I want to fix that just a little bit. It's a little out. And, you know, the way the character animates, right? That's not going to be something, you know, this is some kind of a robot thing. If I really want this to not have that problem, I got to pull his arm kind of like all the way in and change the whole thing. So I'm just going to, you know, eat the robotics factor and the fact that things kind of pass in. And now they designed him this way, so. And again, he's pointing straight. Okay. Now I do feel kind of like he's got the gun a little bit too far back. So again, we can just move the gun. And I want to rotate it in view here. No angle snap, because I just want to make sure that it's pretty much straight. That looks about right. Is his hands coming off or anything weird? No. And he looks pretty good, I'll be honest with you. He's got some stature to him. So that's what we're going to do for his idle animation. So before I do any other animations, I actually want to make sure that all this stuff is going to work. So that's what's going to be our next step, because we don't want to go any farther and make a whole bunch of new animations if this isn't even going to work. So the way that we can do it is you can get any bone in his hierarchy and just hold page up until it scrolls itself all the way to the root. Then hit Control and page down. Okay, that's all you got to do. Now I have every bone in his hierarchy. I do not want the meshes. I do not want the controllers. I do not want anything else. Okay, just the bones, including these ones that are all wacky, which I don't know what's going to happen to us when that happens, but it may in fact happen. So we're going to call this anim UE4 guy. I'm just going to do G rifle idle. Okay. We'll save that. Hit okie doke. Alright, now just double save that just in case. Let's come back to the editor. Go back here. And what we'll do is drag that in. Now this should register that it is an animation, because it should see in the FBX that there is in fact no mesh involved. So it doesn't even ask you if they want a mesh. It's just going to ask for the skeleton, which is good because we need this here. Okay, import that. And now if we take a look, there it is. Okay, and he is completely not moving or anything like that, but we're not worried about that. Okay, so we're good. Now we want to make sure that he does that animation for us. Okay, because right now if we play it, he's still not doing it. Okay, he's not going to hold it. He's still doing the old idle. So we need to go and we need to assault this guy's animation blueprint, wherever the hell that thing is. There it is, right there. Okay, so if we come here and we look at the state machine, we got idle run, and we can come in here and you can see his upper body doing its thing, his lower body. This is a full body animation. Okay, and you can see here that we're using the third person idle run, which is right here. So he starts walking and then he goes to speed. So what we need is to create another version of this that has our guy in there, essentially. Now this is just assuming that if he's running, that we want some motion in there, because here our actual animation is nothing. If we want to have some idle movement, we can quite simply, you know, get a little bit of movement in there. I need to dupe this key. It didn't make me one automatically. I thought it would have. Okay, we can make him breathe. Okay, so to make a character breathe, it's actually quite simple. You need two bones like that are kind of next to each other. Let's just mark the last and start. And like the lower bone basically wants to come forward, and we want to be on local here. So we want to rotate it around its own length. So what we'll do is we'll take that one forward just about 1 degree or so, 1.5 degrees. Then we'll take its child and we'll go back about 1.5 degrees or so. Right there. And this one also needs that one up there. Okay, so we just very minor movement in his chest. Okay. You can, you just kind of want to take two spine bones and just counter them each, because the chest needs to be pushed out, but not change its angle so much. And something like this is enough. It truly is. So this is still idle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-export that. Just go Control page down, re-export, rifle idle. So we actually have some animation in there. Hit OK. Come back here. We should be able to just re-import it. I don't even know where it went. I think it's here. Alright. And there it goes. Okay, it's now moving. You can see, the way that they've skinned it and everything. It's not... Things aren't perfect, This... But again, not a big deal. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to... He's got an idle run, so what we want to do... Go to the content browser. This is a blend space. We're going to duplicate this. And this is going to be idle run rifle. Okay, and we're going to adjust this. And what we need to do is put that there. Oh no, that's the blend space. Where's the rifle? There it is. This guy. To overwrite. I don't know what it's doing there. But we are only going to blend the upper body part. Okay, so what we want to do is... In fact, I don't even think we really need this. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to save this because we can't tell if anything's happening. So I'm going to give ourselves a walk and I'm going to give ourselves a run. Okay, very simple walk. And we're going to go to the curve editor here and the Z position. Let's copy that, put that back in. Okay, and we just want to give it some bounce. So hold Shift. That's all we really need to do. During a single cycle, how many steps does he actually take? 1, 2, and it's 30 frames. So, what we're going to do is we're going to knock this down to 30 frames. Okay, and then we'll end this at 30. And we'll say OK. So now if we play, it should be fast. It's not very cool or anything like that. Here, we'll do this. When we get here, we'll turn it just a little bit. Let's go check that in the curve editor. That looks clean. Y rotation, Z rotation, X position, Y position. I feel like that's a little too high. Okay. Something like that. So when he's walking, we could do the same thing with a little bit of this too. Let's Let's pop a keyframe there. That should auto one to the start. Which way is the gun going? So the gun goes that way, so he needs to compensate just a little bit. Wrong way. It's going to the left, so we'll take him to the left as well. There we go. Something like that. Very simple. And we'll save this as walk. Alright, again, just grab the base here, page up, control, page down. Walk. Let's keep everything in the right spot, huh? Again, we always need to pick the same skeleton. Okay, let's go back here to our run rifle, and we got rifle walk here. Oh, okay, I don't think it was playing, that's all. Yeah, see, it's like not playing. Why is it not playing? Play. There we go. Okay. So it doesn't screw up here, but it does here. Right, because their animation, I don't know why it's doing that. That hip is moving up and back down. But again, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be okay because we're gonna have other shit. So we're gonna just put that we're gonna put that up here too. Okay, so no matter what, he's just doing that if he's moving. Okay, so let's save that. Let's save that. Let's go to his graph. Third person idle run. Okay, so now what we want to do, the question is whether or not we can blend a blend space using bone stuff, using like a socket blend. We'll see what happens. So third person idle run, third person run rifle, and just so that we can see that here, okay, we don't see any leg movement, but we see the arm movement. Okay, again, shitty animation, but it's there. It is moving back and forth. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to figure out if there's a way to do by slot, and that's the thing. I've never tried this because these don't have a slot, and a slot. Okay, let's just go. Let's just try to bypass that. So we'll type blend, and we're gonna blend that, that. No, we don't want to do that. Layered blend per bone. So our blend pose, our base pose, the bone that we want to pick is going to be, I think, spine 01, spine underscore 01. We'll try that. Looks like his legs are going now. There we go. So we are blending our new animation up from spine. Okay, if we were to take this one higher, spine 2, okay, we get a much different result. He doesn't sway back and forth because spine 1 was controlling that. So spine 1 is now doing the animation of the run, and spine 2 is doing the animation of our holding the weapon. Okay. But as you can see, I mean, it's pretty solid. His hand's not coming off the gun. That's important. That's really important. And that's like what we're trying to accomplish here. Our main thing that we're trying to accomplish. So what did we do? So we created an animation of idle and walk, right? And then we put them in here, which are not, you know, like I said, they're not very good. So walk and run are the same thing. We could do a different one for walk, but you got to remember that I'm using the keyboard here. It's not a controller. So actually, I believe that if I do it with a controller here, I have a Xbox controller now, that I can in fact walk slowly, you see, or run. I can't do that with the keyboard and mouse. So the whole blending of the speed thing is kind of not for keyboard games. I mean, because they're not analog, you know. So I think we're good there. So yeah, again, let's just recap real quick. I created the animation in here after we set up all our controls and everything. I have one that's idle and one that's for walking. They're very simple. There's nothing to them. But they still look like they're working, you know. And then when we went into here, we did create that. We just duplicated the blend and we just replaced the animations. Again, using for walk and run, we're using the same thing here. And then what we did in the graph was we used a layered blend per bone on these two different blend spaces. Okay, now this right here is exactly how you can control to say whether or not you are holding this gun or another gun. Because if we also had another one that was for, say, a rocket launcher, we could just basically straight to one that says rocket launcher, and then we can have a blend weight here called using rocket launcher. This one could be called using rifle, and you can blend these in and out in code easy enough. All you got to do is read them from the event graph somewhere. So whenever you swap weapons or change it so that you don't have a weapon anymore, you can say, hey, you know, stop doing this state. So all you got to do, promote that to a variable, and we can just say using rifle. Okay, which as long as it defaults to 1, if we compile here, it should, because I dragged it off of something that was set to 1. There's going to be no change. But if I go to my dude here and go to the event graph, if I give him a new variable using rifle, let's go and edit our project settings real quick and give ourselves an action mapping, and this will be swap weapon. Okay. And then we come back here to the third person character, and what we'll do is we'll say swap weapon. When we press swap weapon, we're just gonna flip-flop this. Every time you press it, okay? If it's false, it becomes true. If it's true, it becomes false. I like to crisscross them to show, just to indicate that it is a flip-flop, and this is the variable that we're using. Control, compile that. Let's go to the event graph. Try to get the pawn owner. We do need to cast that. Cast to third-person character. And get rifle. Bridge that. Okay, and if it's true, if we are using it, we could blend this if we want to. See, 0 and 1, 0, 1. If I, like I said, we could blend it in the code if we wanted to have him go up to it or back down to it. We'll just keep it like that. Come in and hit play. Okay, I'm not using it. I hit Q. I'm using it. I hit Q. I'm not using it. You know, it's an instantaneous swap because I'm not blending. I'll show you guys how to fix that really quick. Like I said, it's super easy. So we'll say using rifle is the current. Okay, we want one with a target of 1, and we want the other with a target of 0. Just dupe this to make it cleaner. We're just going to right click anywhere in the clear and just type delta, so we get delta world seconds here. We can hook that in to there and there. We'll say that the insert speed's about 4 each way. Okay, and so this one got set to 1, so we're going to set that, and this one got set to that, so we're going to use that instead. Okay, and that should tick, so it should be animated now. Or nothing happens. I screwed something up. Target 1, target 01, target 0. Okay, Q. See, it comes up now. Rip, rip. Okay, there we go. So now we got a gun, and we can put it away. We can have the gun disappear or whatnot. We could have him do an equip animation, you know, if we wanted to. Be real easy. You know, aiming the gun, having him blend up and down is a bit of a different story. We will go over that stuff to get this working. Okay. Give it to me. Give it to me. Alright, so there we go. He's running around with the gun now, using our animations. As you can see, he does play. I actually liked it, by the way, better in the... God damn it, I always lose it. It's sometimes you gotta double-click anim graph to get it back. I was already here. I do, in fact, want this to go from spine 01. I think it looks a little bit better. Yeah, he feels a little bit more, a little bit stiffer, which I actually like in this regard. He is a robot, after all. So there we go. Yeah, that's it. So this is Hip-Hop signing off for this part. In the next part, we're going to go over reloading, which will include a shell ejection coming out from the side. It'll include a, let's see, at least that, and then the ability to shoot things. And we'll most likely, we're probably also going to want him pointing at wherever our camera's facing, which doesn't happen when he's stopped. So what we may do is include a right click. When you hold right click, then he aims, and in which case he will immediately start angling himself to which way you're facing. Okay, and then we'll try to get the blend up and down, which we're not going to use an aim blend. We're going to use code for that. We're going to cheat it because it's easier. So yeah, that's it. Hip-Hop sign off. I'll see you guys in the next part. Thanks for watching.